As I'm sure you know, we all need to take in a large amount of vegetables a day. In fact, several servings. But did you know when it comes to getting the right nutrients, sometimes less is actually more? Microgreens with Crooked Carrot Farms today on the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast.
Welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast with Garrett Williamson. Health, wellness, exercise, nutrition, and a whole lot more. Got questions? Call us and leave a message at 251-278-EDGE or message us at Personal Edge Fitness on Facebook and Instagram, at Team PE on Twitter, or personaledgefitness.com.
Good day and welcome to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast. This is your host, Garrett Williamson, president of Personal Edge Fitness. Thank you so much for joining us today. Great to have you and I appreciate you listening in. If you're interested in this topic or any others, you can contact us at area code 251-278-3343. That's area code 251-278-EDGE. You can also reach out to me at Garrett, Garrett, at Personal Edge Fitness. If you want to send an email to me, also that is our website, personaledgefitness.com, and our Facebook page, Personal Edge Fitness. We've been getting quite a few questions through the Facebook page, so please keep them coming. We'd love to hear from you. And not only questions about this show, but if you have questions concerning dispelling the myths of health, fitness, and wellness. We hear all kinds of different myths, out-and-out lies, and some truth dealing with health, fitness, and wellness, but it does seem to mess up our program from time to time. We're trying to figure out, exactly what should we be doing? What should we be eating? How should we be taking care of ourselves? What kind of doctors should we be seeing? Contact us. We'd love to discuss those topics, and that's what we try to put to rest here on the show. And today's topic actually is perfectly in line with that. Now, when it comes to nutrition, if you're familiar with the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast or the Personal Edge Fitness brand, or if by any chance we've met, I'm sure you've heard me talk many times about the lie of food. I have a 4-part podcast that talks about that and where we ended up in a serious epidemic because of the disbeliefs and the misinformation there is about nutrition and food. I talk a lot about that, mainly because the lie of food and talking about good foods and bad foods has caused so many problems. But what I don't think that we've stressed enough is that, yes, we of course need balanced nutrients. We need a balanced diet. There are definitely things that we need in our system that actually can alleviate the need for medications, the need for a lot of the pain and suffering that we go through without having the right nutrition. One of the biggest challenges that my clients talk to me about is about having enough vegetables throughout the day. Now, I don't think, unless you've been living under a rock for the last, 60 years, I don't think it escapes any of us to realize that we do need a large amount of vegetables. It's around 6+ servings a day of vegetables. And I know when people see that, the majority of us look at that and go, that's just not going to happen. Not going to work with my lifestyle. Well, what if you could actually get that same benefit from a smaller amount? In fact, not only that benefit, but a cleaner, power-packed benefit, and you can actually get it delivered to your home. Well, that's what we're talking about today. We have on our show today some guests that are actually dealing with what are known as microgreens. Now, they're going to tell us about that in a minute. But before we get going on that, I want to welcome to the show from Crooked Carrot Farms right here in Mobile, Alabama, Tracy and Clint. Tracy, Clint, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Now, if you're watching us on social media, you'll notice that we are on location. And what you're seeing here behind me are the actual microgreens. Is it right to say that I am sitting in the middle of the farm? Is that correct?
You are actually sitting in the middle of the farm.
Well, I wore my boots today because I didn't know if we would be stomping through the rows of vegetables and what have you. This is quite interesting. I can't wait to hear more about it. First, how did y'all get into this? Did y'all grow up in agriculture? How did this start?
So basically, I went to go visit my brother in Colorado, and we were walking through a farmer's market because that's what him and his wife like to do. And I saw this thing that said microgreens, and the guy out there was like, "Want to try some?" And I was looking at it, and I was like, I was never really a big green eating guy.
Right.
So when we went out there, the guy's like, "Well, here, try some of this broccoli." And I said, "Does it taste like broccoli?" And he says, "Well, yeah."
Let me guess here. Wait a second now, because the listeners know that broccoli happens to be my favorite vegetable. But I'm thinking you're somewhere in the George Herbert Walker Bush, not a broccoli guy.
That is correct.
It's safe to say.
So I went and tried it, and actually I fell in love with it right then and there.
Oh, wow.
And so when I got back, I was trying to explain it to her because a lot of people don't know what microgreens were. I had no idea.
What was your introduction into it, Tracy?
I did a lot of research. He came back and started talking about that. And I was like, well, I was looking for something to do to create an income stream. And he mentioned that, and I started doing some research and just kind of decided that that was something that we could really do, that we could actually, it wasn't a huge investment. It was a great learning experience. It was something that I could handle as a small operator.
Right.
And of course, I'm all about eating vegetables and getting the nutrients that you need.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about the process, because you're talking about something that you knew you could handle. It looked like something you could do. You were looking for a different income stream, which I think is interesting. And you were telling me before we started recording about, kind of the pandemic had something to do with this too. So you give us a little bit of that information.
Well, I mean, it became obvious that boosting your immune system, if you believe in, doctors argue geography or, environment, the geography of your body is your immune system.
Right.
And you can fight these things off easier, or at least they assist you to fight these things off if you boost your immune system.
Absolutely.
And these are one of the most power-packed functional things that can do that, along with supplementation if you need to, if you feel the need to do that.
Well, it's interesting you say that, because when the pandemic hit, and I mean, this is, such a part of all of our lives now. I actually did a radio show, and I had a physician come on and talk about the pandemic and talk about what we could do. At that time, it was early on. This was early on in when it first came out. It was talking about like a drop of a new album or something.
Right.
But when we were first introduced to COVID-19, and really we were just in a world of unknown. But one thing that we knew for a fact, and this is when I was driving home on my show, was the fact that people were getting closed in. They weren't able to go to their fitness facilities and work out. And one thing that we did know is, at the end of the day, boost your immune system. Mm-hmm. I mean, for a fact you can boost your immune system. Right. So it drove that. But there was also somewhat of a economic part of this and lifestyle part of this that you were telling me about, as far as being at home, what have you, that played into this. Am I correct?
Right. Again, I had left my job. I had been working from home for a few months with the job that I had. We were searching, openly searching for something to create an income stream.
Sure.
Again, this one was something that did not have a huge investment to begin with. It would be something with a learning experience, which I love to learn. Yeah. Now, I wish I had the wish to learn, the energy to learn in my college years that I have now.
Right. Don't we all?
So it just spoke to me. It was just, this is the time. A lot of things is timing, and the pandemic, and offering something to people that can easily help boost their immune systems. And they don't have to run out and try to figure out which supplement to get, which obviously supplements do help, but they don't have to run out and, follow this individual or that individual and see what supplements they say. Yeah. They can get all of it from eating microgreens.
And I want to dive more into that, about what microgreens are and what they do and what have you. But I got to ask you quick, since you're spending a little more time at home, has that helped the marriage? Or? Okay, I'm going to stay away from that. Why don't we move on into what microgreens are? Now, if you don't mind me saying, it's kind of a new buzzword, that microgreens. I mean, we have them in health, fitness, and wellness. We have them in nutrition. Talking about microgreens, what are microgreens?
Microgreens are the earliest stage of the plant. So it's a very young plant.
Great.
So what we're looking at is it's going to grow for about 7 days, 7 to 10 days, and then what we call the cotyledon stage. That's when it gets its first true leaves. Right. So then we're going to harvest it, and what we typically do here is when we harvest is when we deliver. Oh, okay. So you're going to get the freshest product with the most nutrition at that time.
And what you said about the liver is very important. We want to make sure everybody knows about that, because so what you're saying, the ones that were delivered to my house just a week or so ago, I mean, they were basically pulled out and you had the car warmed up and ready to go.
Yes, actually, we harvest within 24 hours before delivery.
Oh, wow, fantastic.
And pretty much sometimes even that day before we deliver, because we want to get the freshest product with the most nutrition in there.
I can understand, and I think everybody would want that in their home, but not only in their home, but in restaurants too. Y'all are working with different restaurants, as you were telling me?
Yes, there's going to be a new restaurant opening up here and end of holidays on Airport called the Nutrition Kitchen, and they're going to start using the microgreens. They're going to start using like peas and sunflowers for smoothies. Sure. And also making nutritional meals for people to pick up.
That's not the only food distributor that you work with, is it?
No, Naaman's Catering.
Yeah.
The Naaman's have been great. They're going to start a Mardi Gras mix is what we came up with.
Fantastic.
So it's like we're going to grow some corn to get
Sure.
those yellows and get those. And if you look behind us, you see some of these colors, purples. Not only are they nutritious or taste good, they also look beautiful.
I want to get to that in a minute because I think this display, this has got to be one of my most favorite setups that we've ever had on a podcast. I mean, this is fantastic. This backdrop. The color is incredible, but you also mentioned taste. I'm going to come back to you on that in just a second. So the delivery, though, how far do y'all deliver? And I don't want to get off of that because we just mentioned that a minute ago, but you deliver through the Mobile area, I know?
We deliver to Mobile County. We also have been delivering across the bay to a couple of individuals. So
fantastic.
the greater numbers that we get in different areas,
Sure.
even if it's further out,
Right.
we'll go.
I can understand that if you have a large number of orders, say in Daphne,
Right.
it keeps it cost effective, you know,
Right.
for not only
Right.
for you, but also the person purchasing it,
Right.
which makes sense. So, okay, I began the show talking about, an introduction, talking about less is more. And one thing that really attracted me to this was the fact that all of us know that we need to take in a large amount of vegetables daily. I mean, I know we know that. Y'all hear me talk about water all the time. You knew it was coming. I mean, you knew it was coming. So 100 ounces a day, every day of the week, every day that ends in a Y, recommended by National Institute of Health, American Medical Association, American Dietary Association. If you're not drinking enough water, you're not doing the best things for your body. But that also comes to vegetables and nutrients in vegetables. Right. And when I found out that we could do this, and correct me if I'm wrong, but we can do this actually with a lot smaller amount.
Right.
Through the microgreens.
Absolutely.
Something else that Tracy and I were talking about, and that is getting your kids to eat vegetables. Now, I'm a dink, double income, no kids. All my kids are four-legged and furry. We can control their nutrition. But I hear that my friends that have two-legged children, that getting kids to eat vegetables is difficult. You know, the life cereal, you know, Mikey doesn't like it. He won't eat anything type of thing. But you were telling me about an experience you had.
Right.
About this. Tell me about that, about an event you went to.
Last weekend was the first time that we had been signed up for a farmer's market. It was the first one offer that we could get into.
Sure.
And it was at Trinkets and Treasures on Three Notch Road.
Fantastic. Trinkets and Treasures. Suzanne Trufant. So actually, wife of Bill Trufant, a longtime client of ours, is also the owner of B&B Pets, good friends of Personal Edge Fitness.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead.
They were wonderful to us.
I'm sure.
The setup was great. And it wasn't huge. There wasn't a lot of people going through. There weren't a lot. But the ones that did come through had young children and, you know, like 10, 11-year-olds as well. And I recall one lady specifically had two little girls. She was pushing them along, and she's like, I'm having the most difficult time getting them to eat vegetables. And I'm like,
Right.
okay, well, let's try this.
Sure.
So just the dainty little broccoli, you know, just a dainty little stem. She handed one to one little girl and one to the other. They were maybe 2 years old, 3 years old. She said, are you going to eat it? And they were like, looking at the tiny little thing and put it in their mouth and chewed on it. And she's like, okay, this is something that needs to happen in my home.
Awesome.
So we were thrilled with that. And then another younger gentleman, he was maybe 11 or 12, and he was so cute. And he tried the sunflower because it's crunchier and nuttier and more substantial. He's making these faces, which I just loved. He's chewing and he's chewing.
I know that face.
I know. And I'm like, is he going to say he doesn't like it? And he goes, well, it kind of tastes like grass. And I love the honesty of a child. And I said, it does start off like grass. I said, but do you taste a little kind of a lemony? And he said, yeah, it does. And he said, and now it tastes nutty too. And I said, yeah. I said, can you see yourself eating that? And he said, yeah.
Great. Wonderful. Wonderful. I would think that some of our listeners are out there hearing the Hallelujah chorus in their head right now, hearing such things, which I think is fantastic. But, okay, taste. I eat a lot of vegetables. I grew up in a southern kitchen. A mother that loves to cook. Jane Williamson is known for her baking. She also cooks some fantastic southern vegetables. And I was introduced to, of course, southern cooking of southern vegetables, but also introduced into grilling vegetables and steaming vegetables and raw vegetables. And I have quite a few of them I like. You and I are a little different there because I do adore broccoli. I have not had the microgreens, but I do adore broccoli. But there's one, I'm not president of the United States, so I can't stand in front of the podium and say, I'm president now, I don't have to eat this, but beets. Beets and I don't get along. Obviously, opposites attract because my wife of 25 years, Stephanie Jane Eats Williamson, loves beets. And if you're watching this on social media, these beautiful red things you're seeing right behind me, this is beets. And Clint is trying to tell me something about the taste of these versus beets, now regular beets.
So they do resemble beets a little bit.
Right.
So they're a little bit sweeter,
Right.
but they're great. You can put that like in a potato salad, and it's going to pop that potato salad, give it a little bit of sweet.
Now, y'all's relationship is much like ours, though, because what I know is that you like beets and you don't. But you
Correct.
say you like these.
I do.
This is 2 now. We've got Clint has been converted from no broccoli to broccoli, and now from no beets to beets. I think that's a
Correct.
fantastic testament for microgreens.
I can tell you this right now. I'd go to fast food, order a hamburger,
Sure.
no lettuce.
There you go. There's
Okay.
a lot of honesty there.
All right.
Sure.
So I'll pile on the broccoli now.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
And it tastes so much better. To me, lettuce was just, eh.
Yeah.
So actually, we're coming up with a slogan. I know we didn't talk about this, but it's,
Okay, go
it's
for it.
basically toss the lettuce.
I like
Right.
that.
Right.
I like that. I like that. That's one thing I do find with greens of any sort is it's a great filler. It is a great addition. For the longest time, I would not eat tomatoes. I love tomato flavor, but it had to do with the consistency of it. George Carlin once said, you look at a tomato and you cut it open, there's something not right. It just doesn't look like it's done. And so, but when I toss it in a salad, I'll eat cherry tomatoes in a salad. I'll eat them on a hamburger. And what you're talking about is throwing microgreens on a meat and make it as an additive. You mentioned potato salad a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
I think
yeah.
it's a fantastic way, yet again, not only to enhance the flavor, definitely, but also get your greens in. Make sure you're getting your vegetables in. So
Exactly.
back to that whole beets thing a minute ago. I was talking about that. And the reason I don't like beets is because I don't think they taste good. And I don't think so. But of course now, these beautiful things behind me, I can't wait to try those. When Stephanie ordered some of these, my wife ordered some of these, the flavor was fantastic. I'm not kidding you. Now I'm a vegetable lover. I do like a variety of vegetables, but I was taken aback by the flavor. You're telling me, Clint, earlier about the growth pattern and when they have the most robust flavors and kind of in the early time. And I did notice that. And we noticed that kids are noticing it too. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we're eating Snickers bars. In fact, microgreens are wonderful, but you do have a challenge for me you mentioned earlier.
Yes, we do.
Okay, well, wheatgrass? I know.
Wheatgrass
I mean,
juice.
you have been living under a rock for the last, several years, at least 3 or 4 years, if you haven't heard about wheatgrass and the incredible nutritional benefits of wheatgrass. But I've never tried it.
Okay.
We're going to
If
give
you're
it a
ready,
shot?
We're going to give it a shot.
Let's do it.
yeah.
Let's do it. We're going cold with this. You're about to...
Hold on.
Oh, this is fantastic. Okay, for those of you that know that I do keep a flask in my car just for special occasions, I think the fact that I'm starting with a shot glass of wheatgrass is product packaging here. I think that's what we're going with. So, this is a juice that you. What have we got going on?
This is
here?
the juice. This is the freshest thing, and wheatgrass typically should be consumed immediately after harvest. So I literally just got up, walked in there with a tray that has gotten to the right stage of growth.
Okay.
I cut it and I put it into a masticating juicer.
All right.
So right now you're drinking living food with the enzymes, the chlorophyll, every benefit that they've got in
Right.
there right now. It's
Right.
going to go straight into your system.
I did some summers in a print shop. I never forget the printer that worked there looking at some of the beautiful inks that were going in and say, wow, that just looks like, that blue looks like a blueberry, what have you. And he said, there's no such thing. In fact, I mentioned green. He says there's really no such thing as that kind of green food. And I have to say, this does look similar. So I will say also, y'all didn't get to see this. We took a break and actually paused the video on the podcast so that she could literally lifted up one of these trays and walked into her kitchen and blended this wonderful shot up for me. So y'all are going to get the natural reaction. So to your health,
To yours.
To your health.
bottoms up. Okay. No, really. Okay, look, I'm going to tell you the truth about this. Seriously, I'm going to give y'all prep me for this. Now, what I mean by they prep me for this is that this is the first time I've ever had it. Literally, just now. The reason I say you prep me for this is that I have trainers that control my multisport activities. I have a trainer for my cycling, a trainer for my running. Gary Kootenai handles my cycling. I've got some people that handle my strength training. I get them to lay out the course. I race for Team USA, and I'm going somewhere with this, I promise you. I race for Team USA, and they've actually lay out the course, and I ask them, is it bad? And this last national championship that I did, Gary laid out the course. It's horrible. It is awful, Garrett. It's horrible. And I was so scared and terrified of it that when I actually did it, it wasn't that bad. So I have to say, y'all had me. You guys had me well prepped for this. Is it the best tasting thing? No. I mean, we've got to be realistic here. We tell the truth here on the Personal Edge Fitness podcast. So I'm telling you the truth. Yeah, it does have there's grass there. There's definitely grass there, and that's what I'm tasting. But Clinton, you mentioned that depending on how the height of it, or the how long it's grown,
Correct.
That does change the flavor.
Right, and this one was a little bit more sweeter.
Right.
So depending on when it's cut, like the size,
Sure.
it's going to be a little bit more stout.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to breathe all the way out,
Right.
and
Okay.
then take the shot.
Just like my brother told me years ago when I was a kid, you want to eat that vegetable? Yeah, hold your nose. So the reason I wanted you to describe that was talking about, first thing, about how you grow them and the difference, the changes in flavors, but also the fact that there was a sweetness to this.
There it was, yes.
You didn't throw a Splenda in here, did you?
No, I didn't. No.
Okay.
No.
Ma'am.
I'm better off, I think, just backhanding her than actually saying that to her. So, but no, it better than I thought, and for the nutritional value, I think definitely well worth it. So, but we're all about honesty here on the Personalized Fitness Podcast. Yes, it wasn't the best thing I've tasted, but far better than I thought. Okay, I really appreciate you guys being on the show. We can't leave without letting people know how to get in touch with you. If they're interested in ordering this, how do we go about that?
You go to our website. We have an order page,
And what's that website?
crooked-carrot.com.
All right.
And you just click on the order tab. You have options of subscriptions.
Sure.
So we have biweekly and weekly, and of course, if you'd rather do monthly, however you want to do it,
Sure.
we're flexible. We're gonna work with you. If you just want to do a one-time, there will be a delivery fee. If you have a subscription, there is no delivery fee.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
So, but typically people order the CCF, which is our sampler, which gives you typically for the pea, the sunflower, the radish, and the broccoli. So
Right,
you
okay.
might taste them and go, well, radish isn't my deal, or
Right.
the peas are just
Right.
not what I can use. And then we're happy to substitute for you.
Oh, great. Okay. Really personalize that. So
Absolutely.
Which, of course, our facility is all about, too. But remind them again also that y'all are not just delivering to homes. And it sounds like they're cutting the wheatgrass outside. I think that's what we're getting. No, I'm kidding. The wheatgrass is here behind me. But that's what you hear in the background there. But the restaurants, the other places you were telling me?
Yeah, so Naaman's Catering will be carrying our Mardi Gras mix, which is going
Awesome.
to be the beautiful colors and the display, especially around Mardi Gras and this holiday season.
Sure.
So we're only going to be growing the Mardi Gras mix during October to Fat Tuesday.
Oh, great.
So, and then we got the Nutrition Kitchen, which is going to be opening up after the holidays.
Great.
They're going to have our product there in the package, or
Right.
they're going to also be putting it in their food.
Fantastic. And the guys, we may be even talking about maybe having some of this our Personal Edge Mobile location, but also in our Personal Edge Daphne location. I'm kind of roping them into us while I got them on the podcast. So, but you've talked about some of the things you've got coming. So let's get back on the show some other time. I'd love to have you on the show. And we have to
Absolutely.
talk about our love for rescue animals, of which y'all have
Absolutely.
several. So I'm looking forward to seeing those. But Tracy, Clint, thank y'all so much for being on the show. One more time,
Crooked-carrot.com.
crooked-carrot.com is how you get in touch with them. And if you have any other challenges with that, of course, you can contact the show at area code 251-278-3343. That's 251-278-EDGE. You can reach out to us at personaledgefitness.com or Personal Edge Fitness, our Facebook page. Call our Mobile or Daphne locations. We would love to get you in touch with them and help you find your level of wellness. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for listening to the Personal Edge Fitness Podcast with Garrett Williamson. Subscribe now and be a part of the show by calling 251-278-EDGE or message us on Facebook and Instagram at Personal Edge Fitness or at Team PE on Twitter, and visit us at personaledgefitness.com.